Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another I Get It Live. My name is Alan Gavidia. I'm the subject matter expert here for NX, and today we'll be discussing the new sketcher. You can contact me at alan.gavidia@tatatechnologies.com. If you wish to see anything different or anything new in the future, please feel free to contact me. The new sketcher was introduced in 1926 and it's been on by default in 1953. And the current version I'm using right now is NX 2206. So we're gonna talk about this kind of how you transition from the old sketcher use to the new sketcher, and gonna show you a few things to look at and to look for, and kind of to understand the methodology of the new sketcher. So here are a few takeaways. So first we'll discuss the sketcher overview, I guess the transition between the old and the new, and then also go through the option of how to change in the settings to go from the old environment to the new environment. We'll discuss very briefly the old sketcher in comparison with the new sketcher, and then some benefits of the new sketcher along with a short demo. And then I'll show you the I Get It learning courses that we have in I Get It for the new sketcher, and you can get more in-depth training or learning in that course as well. So let's go ahead and get started now. Okay, so here in this part right here that I have, let's go ahead and double click on the sketch. And so if most of you are familiar that this is the old sketcher environment. As you can see, the ribbon bar is also the old sketcher environment, or the old sketcher ribbon bar. The new one is reorganized with some of these like the constraint group and some of the dimension groups. Well, the group and the dimension is consolidated in another group. So you'll see that when I activate the NX new sketcher. So here, these are the expressions that in the new sketcher environment, they will not appear unless you decide you want them there, but you can that's something that we'll go more in depth in, like more in the courses, and I Get It. But for now, this is the old sketcher. Most of you are aware and familiar with this. So let's go ahead and get the new sketcher environment activated. So you need to go down to the file, down to utilities, early access feature, and then from this window, you'll see at the bottom, it's use the new solver and UI for sketching. So for example, most of these states are off, but once you turn them on, you're required to, some of them, for restart of NX session for activation. So this one is a yes, so you need to restart this, right? So let's go ahead and click OK, and you'll be prompted that you need to restart the NX session for activation of the new sketcher environment. So go ahead and click OK, and then just close out. Okay, now we're back. So let's go ahead and open up the part that I had opened earlier. Okay, so most of your files, most of the parts that you've worked with, I'm assuming, are in the old sketcher. So the new sketcher will have to be used or convert. You'll be converting your new sketches or your old part files into the new sketcher. So let's say I want to modify this part or maybe change it up. If I double click on the sketch, you're given options to edit the parameters only, or renew and edit, which is like a conversion to the new sketcher. So most of you, I'm assuming, would be using the renew and edit, but let's go ahead and select edit parameters. And these are the parameters, as you can see, that are being edited, that you are able to edit only, nothing with the geometry or the dimensions. So let's go ahead and let's change position 2 or P2 to 7, and let's click apply. Back to, you can see how it got modified, or just increased the dimension. Click OK, and you can see if that's all you want to do, then OK. But however, you want to go back into the sketch and then do renew and edit. So this converts the entire sketch into the new sketcher environment. So the new sketcher environment includes the solve group, which is the new solver in a way. I mean, you're able to see which sketches or lines are movable by a color. I will go into that here in a little bit. You can relax the dimensions. So for example, if I enable the relaxed dimensions, I can go ahead and select the circle here and move it around to like a different shape. I mean, it'll update the dimensions, but it just depends on what you're looking to do. You can relax dimensions, which by that name, you're relaxing the relations of, like, say, coincident relationships or anything that's a vertical or horizontal. Like if I have it on, I can change this to you can see how I can change it from not being vertical anymore. So anything that's showing in pink is allowed to be modified. Now before we go into a new sketch, let's go ahead and take a look at the sketch preferences. Let's go to Task, Preferences, and Sketch. Now as I mentioned before, the movable curves, the color is like a dark brown. So let's change that to, which might be hard to see, right? So let's go ahead and change that to a deep yellow. So click OK. And now click Apply, or let's click OK again. Now let's see what that would look like. Let's go ahead and go Relax Relations. And let's change, let's move this up a little bit here. Now you can see it's a little bit easier to see the what's movable and what's not, because when it's like a little darker brown, it's kind of hard to see, kind of hard to tell if it's black or not, right? But let me go undo, Control Z. Now let's go ahead and go to a new sketch here. Let's go File, New, create a new millimeter part. I'll go ahead and start a new sketch. Select the top plane. And here, let's go ahead and create the circle. I'll create here at the center. And I'll create a square here, along with a circle. Now let's say I would like to rotate this to another quadrant. For example, I would just go to Options, Rotate Drag, and select this sketch here. Once I select it, I just click and then drag, and as you can see, it rotates around this center point. Now let's say, for example, I would like to move this here in another location like this, like the axis of rotation. Now I can select these sketches again and rotate, as you can see. So this makes it easier for you to modify a sketch or determine if you need a different rotation, or if you want to rotate that certain sketches in a different angle or different position with respect to, I don't know, maybe a connecting rod or something that you're coming up with within your design. So this comes useful when you're needing to rotate objects about an axis. The next sketch I'm going to create will be a rectangle with a slot, or like a little indentation with four holes. So go ahead and create the square first. Create a couple holes here. Let's make them, let's say, about 50. And another one here. You can see the relations are automatically applied. And even the equal relation between the size of the circles. I can select the vertical line, and an option for a dimension appears. So let's make that 500. So in the old sketcher, you would have to use the rapid dimension to create the dimension for, like, let's say here for the horizontal, I got click OK, or click close, and then select the dimension, and then hit the dimension I wish to apply to. Let's do that 700. Now within the sketcher here, these are moving, and those move too. Let's select that and move it out of the way. Now in order to apply a dimension like quickly here with the new sketcher, you would select the circle, select the center point, and then select, let's say, the horizontal here, and your previewed dimension that you can click on. It activates it, and you can apply or add the input dimension of, like, let's say 150. Middle mouse click, and then you can move the dimension off to the side. You can move this one also off to the side. Let's try another dimension here from the vertical. Click on it to activate it. Let's make it 125. Now you can see that that circle there is positioned accordingly to it's black, so it means it's fully defined. So now, as I mentioned before, the gold or the brown means that it's movable. So we can change that color again if you wish to. Like, let's say go to task, preferences, sketch preferences, and then part settings and movable curves. Let's change it to deep yellow, and click OK, and then apply. So now you can see that the color changes to a yellow, showing that it's movable. And if you go to, let's say you go to relax relations, we wish to, with the relax relations on, just select any other part of the sketch and you'll get a preview of what can be modified. See, anything that's purple is movable. So, I mean pink, sorry, anything that's pink. So the pink signifies that it's temporary disabled. So I click on this right side and you can see how the horizontal lines are angled now. So I can modify those relations. Now everything turns yellow, right? So now everything needs to be redefined. So let's say, let me click on this again and then make it horizontal. So now it goes back to being a horizontal line. I'll select the right line and the left line and the center of reference to make a symmetric relationship between the two. Now the make symmetric window pops up, and it says that the curves can only be moved if the stationary curve is also allowed to move. Do you wish to keep the solution? Click OK, and now some of your entities turn to black. Now we wish to add dimensions between these two circles. So if I click on the outer or the circle between the two, it's going to get the shortest distance between the two dimensions. So that's going to be the 332 there. Once you click it, it'll activate it. And let's put in 350 and then click OK, and then now we get the dimension for between those two circles. Now between these two circles we want to do the center, so we select the circle, the center, and then the center of the other circle, and then add the 210 relationship dimension. Let's say I wanted to dimension the top two circles from the center, not the shortest distance, which is a 350. So let's go ahead and delete that dimension and go ahead and select the circle and then select the center, hover over to the next circle and select the center of that circle, and then you'll get a preview of the dimension that you wish to enable. Move it up out of the way. Now you can see that the sketch is fully defined. As it states here at the bottom, the sketch is fully defined. Now for example, let's add another portion to the sketch. Let's add another, like a little tab here. Let me go ahead and trim this portion out. Oh, I went a little too far. Okay, there we go. Add a dimension to this horizontal and this horizontal. That's 162. Let's add a 150. Let's go ahead and add a few more dimensions. I'll add a 110 to this tab here, the horizontal. Now the vertical portion of this sketch will be 142. The 210 is in the way, so I'll have to move that here in a little bit. So I'll make that 140. Now the sketch is fully defined. Let me fix this up a little bit here. Okay, now let me go ahead and enable the relaxed relations. So when I select the right line, the right vertical, the purple or the pink sections or the pink relations are deactivated. So that means the collinear between the two, the top line and the bottom vertical, as well as the vertical relation is that line can become an angled line. The same thing with this top vertical or the horizontal here. You can see it's not vertical horizontal anymore. So that's what the relaxed relations allows certain portions of the sketch to do. Now let's say that we wish to position this tab to be at the center rather than off-centered as it was modeled incorrectly or sketched incorrectly. So what we can do is, instead of deleting dimensions and having to re-add them, we can just activate the relaxed relations as well as the relaxed dimensions and select the right line. And then now you can see that the pink lines do not appear for those horizontals. The only pink sections appear for those dimensions. Instead, I want to apply a symmetric relation between these two horizontal lines and the axis. Let me uncheck or unselect the relaxed relation dimensions and apply a dimension here. Again, by applying the dimension, it's going to angle those two horizontal lines. So in order to fix that, we must undo and then select those lines. Well, I guess before we do that, before selecting the dimension, you need to click on the relaxed dimension, and now click on the dimension and modify it. Yeah, you can see when we modify this dimension, the top vertical, or the top horizontal and the bottom horizontal, or in this instance, yeah, both the top and the bottom horizontal are update. So if we wish to update the center tab vertical distance, you would just select that and then it would adjust according to how you see it. And then I believe the 170 would shrink. So if you notice, I overdefined my sketch here. In the old sketcher, this would become a problem. So this extra 170 here does not cause an issue with the new solver or the new sketcher. So you can have, I guess, multiple dimensions if you wish, but you're not going to get an error for this solver, this new sketcher environment, as you would have if you were in the old sketcher. So that's also something new with the new sketcher. And there you have it, how to sketch in the new sketcher in NX. And if you want more detail about relaxed relations or relaxed dimensions, in iGet, we have a course in the new sketcher, so you can check it out, and other courses that we have as well. But for now, this is a small, short little preview of what the capabilities are for the new sketcher. Okay, so here in myiget.com, I'm going to sign in and show you really quickly where we have the courses located. So in the learning path under NX, we have all releases filtered, but we can filter by 2007. So yeah, 2007 is the most recent release. So the 2206 will be done probably within the next few months or so. That's what we're working on this time around. So the basic sketcher, this is the basic sketcher. The new sketcher is right here, the 107 series course. So you can go ahead and take a look at the basic new sketcher, and we'll go over from making your, I guess, make commands. The make commands, which is that center. Let me show you real quick. That's the solve. Well, the make commands are right. The make commands are these right here, like where you get your access to your make coincident, your collinear, your horizontal, your vertical, your tangent. So these are pretty much your, like, I guess in other softwares are considered the like your mating or your relations, right? So for example, make coincident, that used to be called point on curve. So make coincident, I mean, I've heard of make coincident from being using AutoCAD softwares, right? So the make coincident, this it sounds more familiar, but it also, I mean, I do understand the point on curve. I mean, it's the same. Curve can also be like a line path or a line or whatever, right? But make coincident seems to be more in line with what the other softwares have been naming their relationships, I guess, right? But yeah, this is the solve for the make commands here. Then from there, then we also have another unit in the sketch functionality. So this involves all you include a functionality. So when you're creating another sketch on a face of like an extruder or boss, you can include those geometry lines or the silhouette of that face to be included in your sketches so you can reference from them. So make sure you visit this course and you can go through the course and learn about the new sketcher. We also have projects here. You can create your sketch project and you'll learn from as you're doing. So and once again, you can visit myiget.com for a full list of Siemens NX new sketcher and other courses. And please comment and provide any feedback. You can also email me at alan.gavidia@tatatechnologies.com. And thank you very much and enjoy your morning.